She walked down the aisle in black sunglasses and a Vivienne Westwood mini dress, not exactly the image that comes to mind when you think of a traditional bride. But then again, Charli XCX has never been one to follow the rules. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a statement, bold, rebellious, and unapologetically her. On July 19, 2025, the genre-defying pop star said, "I do," to George Daniel, the drummer of a 1975, in a ceremony that was as intimate as it was iconic. There were no massive venues, no A-list paparazzi guest lists, and no flashy performances. Instead, it was something far more rare in the world of celebrity, a celebration of love stripped down to its essence, with a side of subversive fashion, of course. But how did this unexpected love story come to be? And what really went down behind the scenes of the internet's most stylish surprise wedding? Let's break it down. Charli's look. While most brides walk down the aisle in flowing white gowns that stretch across the floor, Charli XCX did the exact opposite and made it unforgettable. Ditching the typical fairy tale silhouette, she chose a Vivienne Westwood Nova Cara mini dress that screamed fashion rebellion. The corseted bodice hugged her frame with sharp precision, while the ruched skirt and off-the-shoulder cut gave the look a sultry edge that only Charli could pull off. The statement didn't stop at the dress. She paired the outfit with sleek white Jimmy Choo slingback heels and topped it off with a classic tulle veil, a playful nod to tradition. But in true Charli style, she threw on a pair of black sunglasses after the ceremony, transforming from bride to icon in a single accessory swap. Her dark hair was left loose in soft waves, effortlessly blending bridal romance with signature rock star attitude. This wasn't about looking elegant. It was about owning her identity, bold, modern, and completely untamed. But the bride wasn't the only one breaking tradition. George Daniel's look. Standing beside Charli in her rebellious bridal moment was George Daniel, equally stylish, equally unconventional, and totally unfazed by the spotlight. While most grooms stick to black tuxedos and polished shoes, George showed up in a navy double-breasted suit that felt more indie film premiere than royal wedding. He paired it with a muted gray shirt and subtly flared trousers, balancing just the right amount of vintage flair with modern cool. His boutonniere wasn't just a detail, it was a quiet match to Charli's bouquet, a subtle show of connection that felt deeply personal. He didn't need loud patterns or flashy accessories to stand out. George's vibe was understated and confident, a mirror image of the calm, experimental energy he brings to the 1975's music. But for all the love in the air, there was one noticeable absence that didn't go unnoticed. Matty Healy, the band's frontman and longtime friend of George, was missing from the ceremony due to personal commitments, sparking instant speculation online. Fans wondered if something deeper was behind his absence, or if it was simply the nature of a wedding that kept things tight and private. Still, nothing could distract from the couple's chemistry. Their styles may have clashed on paper, pop star meets rock drummer, but together, they looked perfectly in sync. But how did this unlikely love story begin? How their story started? It all started with the music. Back in 2021, Charli XCX and George Daniel crossed paths in the studio, a collaboration that would eventually shape not only the sound of her albums, but the course of their lives. At first, it was strictly professional. George stepped in to co-produce tracks on Crash and later Brat, helping craft some of Charli's most critically acclaimed work. But somewhere between the beats and the brainstorming, something shifted. Their creative chemistry spilled over into something deeper, a quiet connection that fans started picking up on long before it was confirmed. Subtle glances during interviews, cryptic social media posts, and the unmistakable energy of two artists completely in sync started to raise eyebrows. Still, both kept their budding relationship low-key. There were no red carpet debuts or tabloid leaks, just two people building something real, far away from the noise. And then came a quiet reveal that took everyone by surprise. Charli's subtle reveal. In true Charli XCX fashion, the engagement wasn't announced with a headline or a glitzy PR rollout. It was whispered through aesthetics and subtle clues. One day, fans noticed a mirror selfie on her Instagram story where a diamond ring casually sparkled on her finger. No caption, no explanation, just enough to ignite a frenzy of speculation. Days later, She dropped a quiet carousel of images, one of a tea tray, a ring box barely in frame, and a few intimate snapshots that felt more like a visual poem than an announcement. It was soft, personal, and totally unexpected, a love letter to those paying close enough attention. It wasn't until early 2024 that the couple finally confirmed it. Yes, they were engaged. Romantic photos surfaced, showing the duo wrapped in soft lighting and effortless joy, no magazine cover needed. It felt intimate and artistic, the kind of announcement that didn't scream for attention but still captured the internet's heart. And when the big day finally came, it wasn't what anyone expected. The wedding day. On July 19, 2025, Charli XCX and George Daniel officially tied the knot in a way that felt more like a love letter than a publicity stunt. The ceremony took place at Hackney Town Hall in London, a venue that was elegant but grounded, stylish but far from showy. True to their vibe, it wasn't about glitz or headlines. It was about them. The guest list? Tight. Just close family, longtime friends, and a few familiar faces from the music world. No tabloids, no live streams, no over-the-top theatrics. It was a quiet, deeply personal celebration, the kind of wedding most celebrities either avoid or can't pull off. But for Charli and George, it fit perfectly. Still, the world found its way in. Photos began surfacing online. Not paparazzi shots, but dreamy, aesthetic captures that showcased the couple glowing with love and style. Charli in her bold mini dress. George in his relaxed, indie cool suit. No spectacle, no ego, just two artists deeply in sync, committing to a life together. And the after-party? It was peak Charli XCX. After the vows were exchanged and the cameras faded, Charli and George did what most newlyweds don't. They kept it real. Instead of a glitzy ballroom or five-figure DJ set, they kicked off their married life with an intimate Italian dinner surrounded by their closest friends. It wasn't curated for press. It was warm, low-key, and deeply personal. But the night didn't end there. The couple slipped into something more comfortable and headed to a Dalston dive bar, blending right back into the London scene that raised them. It was the kind of after-party only Charli XCX could pull off, where champagne clinks with beer bottles, and where no one's posing for the perfect shot because they're too busy living in the moment. Charli later shared videos on social media that gave fans a rare look behind the scenes, dancing, laughter, and the kind of unfiltered joy that reminded everyone this wasn't a PR stunt. It wasn't branded content or a soft launch. It was real life, messy, magical, and entirely hers. But the wedding is just the beginning. What's next for Charli and George? With the wedding behind them, fans are already buzzing about what's next, not just for Charli and George as a couple, but as creative powerhouses. Their chemistry in the studio has already produced some of Charli's most celebrated work, especially on Brat, where George's co-production added texture and edge that didn't go unnoticed. Now, fans are wondering, could a joint album be on the horizon? A surprise tour? A pop meets indie experimental project that pushes both of them into uncharted territory? Social media is flooded with theories, wish lists, and cryptic clips dissected for hidden meanings. But so far, the couple is keeping it quiet. No confirmations, no denials, just silence, and that only fuels the speculation more. Still, one thing is clear. At its core, this wedding wasn't about flashy displays or chasing headlines. Charli XCX stayed true to everything she's built her career on, being rebellious, fiercely artistic, and deeply private. She showed the world that you don't have to fit the mold to celebrate love on your own terms. George Daniel matched that energy perfectly, bringing his own understated cool to the day without overshadowing the moment. Together, they crafted a celebration that reflected who they are, authentic, genuine, and unafraid to break the rules. Fans have responded with overwhelming support, praising the couple for choosing sincerity over spectacle. In a world obsessed with viral moments and extravagant weddings, Charli and George's quiet ceremony reminded everyone that sometimes the most powerful statement is simply being yourself. This wedding wasn't just about a dress or a sparkling ring. It was about identity, about growth, rebellion, and choosing love on their own terms. Charli XCX and George Daniel didn't follow the usual celebrity playbook. Instead, they crafted a moment that was real, raw, and unmistakably theirs. They may have kept it small, private, and personal, but the impact? That was massive. So what do you think? Did Charli just redefine what it means to be a pop star bride? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Thanks for watching CelebRush. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and leave a like. Until the next one,